Hi guys, I got injured in 2020. I jammed my left arm into my bicycle handlebars, and for 3 years the symptoms were not taken seriously. They weren't considered an injury by more than one health network in my area. And the reason the injury was missed, I think, is because I have a condition called hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and they didn't know that at the time. So when I fell, I basically knocked a lot of things out of place that normally would hold together well. And because it wasn't treated, like, I ended up with a shoulder impingement. My first rib was on top of nerves that come out of my spine. And because it wasn't treated in a timely manner, it caused almost like an allergic type reaction, where I got something called mast cell activation syndrome, and I got so much inflammation in this area that it was squeezing my jugular vein. I mean, this is what it feels like to me. This is what I experienced. It feels like my eustachian tube is being squeezed. It feels like my skull is being squeezed. And I ended up getting something called Eagle syndrome, where my styloid process somehow ended up calcified and pushing into my throat. So that had to be removed. And the whole situation affected my lymphatic system. So I needed a lymphatic surgery, and it also caused shifts with my wisdom tooth. So a tooth that previously wasn't bothering me ended up horizontal in my maxillary sinus, and no one picked up on that or mentioned it. So while I was going through the rib issue, the shoulder impingement, my tooth was playing a role in my pain, but that was overlooked. And after 5 years and the other surgeries, like the styloid removal, the first rib removal, the lymphatic surgery, which is called thoracic cannulation, I finally was like, something's still wrong. And I realized my tooth was in there, and I asked to check, and it was horizontal in my maxillary sinus. So they had to remove it using something called the Kaldak approach. And with all of this, I developed something called mast cell activation syndrome, where I have basically an allergic type response in this entire region, where everything like here, here, inside here, under, like inside my eye, inside, behind my nose, behind up here, like even actually in my skull, I feel it. All on the left side, everything is activated, like I'm having an allergic reaction. So that's kind of been agreed upon very recently at the emergency room, and it's recommended that I go back to immunology to get more support for my mast cell activation syndrome. But somehow while all this was happening, my eustachian tube got like trapped in, I don't know if it's my sternocleidomastoid muscle or part of my scalenes, or even like my mastoid bone or my jaw. I'm not sure, but it's trapped, and I'm being told like I shouldn't get eustachian tube surgery, but I don't see how I'm supposed to live with a trap because it affects my breathing. My breathing has been impacted for over 5 years, and because my oxygen's normal, I'm left like this with my breathing impacted. I get all types of noises, which you don't hear right now because I'm holding them in, and when I hold them in, I don't breathe as well, and I don't talk as well. So if anyone wants to know about my rib removal, they also had to cut my pec minor and some of my scalene muscles. If anyone wants to know about that, or if they want to know how I got my styloid process removed as it was pushing into me, I found that it was elongated, they said that's something I could have been born with. They said it's elongated on both sides, but only the left, where I fell, did it start pushing into me. So yeah, if anyone wants to know about that, or the Caldwell-Luck approach, don't forget about your wisdom teeth. Don't forget that veins can get affected. They might say you don't have deep, I think they call it deep vein thrombosis. Like maybe you don't have a specific blood clot, but that doesn't mean there's not compression on your veins, and that hurts. That's not comfortable. If you have thoracic outlet syndrome or Eagle syndrome or hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos or another type of Ehlers-Danlos, mast cell activation syndrome, any of those conditions, like when they work, especially when they work together, if you get injured, it's very, and I don't know if I'm getting off track, and if I am, I'm sorry, but it's very difficult to go through the healing process because you have like this allergic reaction, even though it's not that, it's similar to that, while you're getting surgeries and nobody's treating you for this allergic reaction while you're trying to heal, and you don't understand why you're not getting better. And you know, it affects veins, it affects nerves, it affects muscles, it affects the eustachian tube, it affects the brain, it makes thinking hard, it makes you tired. And so many people that go through stuff like this get dismissed because it's rare and doctors don't fully understand it. I want people to know. I don't want people to go through this. If your lymphatic system needs to be checked, if your tooth needs to be checked, if your veins need to be checked, like I said, maybe it's not deep vein thrombosis, but maybe there's compression. There's tests for that. It's called a venogram. Sometimes it's listed as an angiogram in medical coding in the United States, but it's a venogram. They can check your chest, they can check your head, they can check your neck, but sometimes your veins are fine. They're just being squeezed by the pressure of the allergic reaction, the crowding that you have from structural things literally pushing into the inflammation that's inside here. Right side, good. I touch my right side, I can breathe better, I can talk better. I touch my left side, I lose my voice because of how much, like, it's called leukotrienes, what I have. Some people might have histamine, which is another, like, inflammatory marker, but my inflammatory marker, it's called leukotrienes. So, there's a lot still missing to my picture. I have more tests coming up. Some doctors mentioned maybe I have Chiari malformation, maybe I have vein compression in the head, skull region, neck, so I'm waiting for more testing. My chest veins are okay. I do feel like after my rib was taken out, I got a lot of drainage coming down in this area, so I don't know if that, maybe wasn't okay, but now it's better because my rib was taken out and things were able to drain. Still doesn't feel right over here though, but it feels better than before. But like over here in the back feels very clogged. I think it's clogged with the mast cells. And then up here, and like the eustachian tube, like I said, is not working right. It's blocked. So like, I don't want to show you guys what happened. I know this might sound disgusting, but I want to show you guys what happens when like these noises come, because my eustachian tube is blocked and everything's crowded, and when I try to hold the noises back, I lose my voice and it's harder to breathe. So I want to show you what they sound like. I'm just going to show it a little bit. Just wait, and then it will come if I don't stop it. I go through this stuff constantly, and I don't get admitted to the hospital because they say I need specialized testing or specialists, but none of the specialists know how to help me. I've been to multiple states. I've been to so many people. I've had 4 surgeries, and I'm still going through this. So if anyone knows what like this maybe is, I think it's my eustachian tube being trapped, like the noise. It would be extremely helpful. But I hope the video helps somebody, and thank you guys. And all the specialists that did my surgeries, they don't know what to do. So if anyone's and going to other people, like similar types of doctors, it doesn't change. It doesn't get me anywhere. So I don't know if anyone has any suggestions. Sorry. Or if anybody knows of anyone that could help with this, feel free to reach out. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me. I want to spread thoracic outlet syndrome awareness, Eagle syndrome awareness, mast cell activation syndrome awareness, and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome awareness, which is a connective tissue disorder. I want people to understand the impact of an injury for somebody with a hypermobility disorder, and how we can be prone to allergic type reactions even though it's not an actual allergy. because of these conditions. And some of us also have certain gene mutations that make it harder for us to absorb normal vitamins, which makes it harder for us to heal. Thank you guys. Anyone that's going through this, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what I know you've had to face in the medical system. And it's years, and it's torture, and you do research and you're told not to read. You try to talk to some doctors about what you found, and they don't want to know. They tell you didn't go to medical school, but you don't know what else to do because you know you need help, and you're not able to get it. Some doctors are understanding though, and are great. And so are some nurses, and a lot of the medical professionals are great, so I don't want to discount that. But it's been a very difficult and hurtful journey with a lot of dismissals, even telling me don't come back to their practice anymore. They've already told me there's nothing that they can do for me. All right, have a good night, guys.